Welcome to the Keep It or Change Cars podcast, proudly brought to you by Change Cars, South Africa's most trusted online car buying platform. Today's our very first podcast, and we have special guests in studio. Not really guests. I think you guys are going to become permanent. Adam Ford, who's very well known in the industry. Adam, you know a thing or two or three about...
How's it, Guga? It's great to be here. The first episode, the first podcast, brought to you by CHANGECARS.
Brought to you by CHANGECARS.
Yeah, for the people who don't know me, I've been in the industry for, started my business 1986, fixing cars, getting my hands dirty. And since then, it's grown to, I've been part of the media for close on 20 years now.
20 years. I've been alive for 20 odd years.
I know. I think I was doing it when you were running around in nappies.
You started 7 years before he was in nappies.
That's it. Something like that. But just a little bit of history. I started a workshop many, many years ago when we used to fix cars like, Morris Minors, Cortinas, Minis, the great old cars from the 80s. And we've carried on from strength to strength right now till, what are we now, 2023? And we're fixing the latest technology. And it's quite interesting for me to see how the technology has changed. But doing that, I got involved with radio. Many listeners may remember me from the days of A Word on Cars on Radio 702.
I remember that.
We ran a show for 10 years. It was very, very successful. Went on to TV. We've done loads of TV shows for SABC and many other programs. But that's a little bit of my short history.
You've been around the block once or twice.
So I know a thing or two about cars.
The other important guest we have today is Michael Pashut, the owner of CHANGECARS. Michael, welcome and thank you for coming.
Thank you. I'm humbled to be in your presence.
The man himself.
A fantastic host.
Right.
Thank you.
So you've also got quite a history in the motoring industry. And in my opinion, you're a walking encyclopedia when it comes to all things automotive. What does your history look like? Who is Michael Pashut? How many years have you been doing this?
Thank you. So almost like Adam, I started in 1991. This is my 32nd year. And I just want to echo what you said. The changes in the last 5, 10, 15 years have been monumental. However, it's a history that has been built up, and we look forward to sharing our knowledge with our listeners and our viewers. That's the beautiful thing about a podcast. Do you want to watch it or do you want to listen to it? Yeah. Listen to it in your car. Try not to watch it in your car, ideally. No. But awesome. So I think we've got a good show ahead.
We've got a good show ahead. We're going to be talking all things automotive. We're going to be responding to questions from you, the viewer or the listener. And the first question is from Johan, who's from Pretoria. Personally, I like to call him Johan. So Johan has requested, first of all, before asking his question, he wants us to tell everyone that the Blue Bulls are the best. You're a Sharks supporter.
To keep our viewers happy, I agree with Johan. Okay. And to all the Sharks supporters, I agree with you as well.
Okay. So Johan, that's done. Now, what he wants to know is which are the best countries in the world in terms of quality? So car manufacturers, he's got two questions. That's the first one. He's got Germany, he's got Korea, he's got Japan, China, and France. So if we're talking quality, build quality, etc., how do you rank these countries?
It's
Adam?
difficult. It's a very, very good question because in terms of quality is always perceived.
Correct.
So you have this perception that European cars, German cars that come out of Germany or the UK or France, because they're European, they got this, when you close the door, it goes thud or whatever. But to me, quality is longevity. So, you can get into a Mercedes. I remember a Mercedes used to be, you close the door, it was solid. Thud, and that was quality. It used to be. I think they've changed a bit. But in terms of quality and reliability, for some people who drive, for argument's sake, a Toyota Hilux and they go into the bush and everything, that to them is quality because they can go to Botswana and come back and never break down. Yeah. But when it comes to like quality of feel, you're going to get the Germans. So that are like, you get into a Mercedes or a BMW or Audi or something like that, it feels solid.
Textiles.
Touchy-feely stuff, you get quality feel from that. But for me, I think the best quality comes out of Japan.
Not even a question.
Yeah,
but you just said quality is relative, right? Depending on what you're looking for.
Perceived quality, Your perceived quality, you get into, I've been into a lot of German cars, especially cars from, let me go back to the early 2000s, when you got into German cars and when they were new, they were great. But 5, 6 years down the road, the buttons were all worn out, the plastic
BMWs
crappy. lots of cars like that. But if you get into the Japanese cars, I mean, think about it today, guys. What are the old cars you see on the road?
The Japanese stuff.
Not the classics that people keep and look after. It's the Japanese. You still see old Honda Ballards. You still see old Mazda 323s, the Tarzan car, tree to tree. Those are the cars. That to me is quality. It doesn't cost you a fortune to fix.
Yeah.
It will stay together. I mean, everybody knows, you're talking reliability and quality. Mazda, Honda, Toyota.
One common theme, Japanese.
So you agree, Michael? You agree with them?
I use the word perceived quality. Brand new car. You take a Mercedes, a BMW, and an Audi, the three premium German brands, versus a Toyota, a Honda, and a Nissan. There's no question that the Germans look better. There's that perceived quality, that tactile quality. But 5 years, 6 years later, in the hands of a rep, those cars will look tired and broken. The Japanese cars will look fundamentally the same.
Yeah, it's quite
So he asked us to outline what he thought was a strong point and a weak point on each. So if you said to me, the strong points on the German stuff, absolute perceived quality, and the Japanese, it is real quality. Yourself, Adam? You did.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Mark. But I also think that, that quality, people want to have other people look at them and say, I'm driving a quality car. They want to impress people. So they drive German cars because that I've made it kind of thing. As opposed to, I think, the sensible buy. You say to somebody, buy a Mazda CX-5 or go and buy yourself a Mercedes GLB or a BMW X1.
Sure.
Oh, no, I want the BM and I want the BMW, or the Mercedes. But the quality in terms of longevity, you should go and buy the Mazda. But it's what people want.
You buy a 15-year-old Mazda, you've got 120,000 Rand to spend. It's not a lot of money, but it's a fair whack of money for a 15-year-old car. You'll pay 120 for a Mazda. You'll pay 120 for a C-Class or a 3 Series. A Mazda will not give you a day's trouble. Will carry on for another 10 years. The cost of ownership will be a pleasure. Go do that with a Mercedes.
See what happens.
It'll be like a bad divorce.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, he wanted us to rank these countries, right? So are we saying Japan is at the top?
Japan's must be the best car.
Okay.
And you're looking at the Koreans as well. Koreans, the Hyundais and Kias, really bring us some great stuff now.
I went with Japan, then Korea, then Germany, then China, then France, and he also asked us about Italy. Italy, unless you're driving a Ferrari, comes a poor 7th out of 6.
So hang on a sec. If we were saying what are the best looking cars in the world?
Other way around.
Other way around. Italy would be, I mean, Ferraris and Alphas. I think are beautiful cars. But in terms of, France with the Peugeots and Renaults.
Yeah.
We know the issues that they've come through. And, they don't have that longevity. And they don't have, they just don't have a presence, really. Renault's, okay, doing a bit of a presence, but they don't last.
Citroën and Peugeot. Nowhere.
I mean, the cars aren't too bad, but you know what it is? I think it's that history over years. People remember like Peugeot. I remember the 404 Peugeot. How great it was, Now the cars aren't that good, but I remember the.
Were they
Peugeot
good back in the
404.
day, quality-wise, and
compared to what was available? I would say the Peugeot 404 was completely on a level playing field. Whereas today, compared to what's available, any Peugeot, I would put below their competitors. Yourself?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think, they do modern day cars nowadays. They make some good looking cars. They're great to drive and that, but longevity, resale value, service backup. I mean, you just look at the sales figures. I think the other day I saw Citroën sold one C3.
One C3.
I think it was a C3. I think it was one of them.
One of the executives' wives.
Yeah, it was
at a discounted rate.
How do you sustain a dealership on that? But I mean, I think we're missing the point in terms of the quality of the vehicles. The Chinese vehicles 10 years ago were garbage. Today wow.
Absolutely. Yeah. As recently as 2-3 years ago, if you had asked me about a Chinese vehicle, I would have said to you with all sincerity, don't even consider it.
Don't waste your time.
It wasn't meant with malice. It was just genuinely, why would you go Chinese compared to what else is available? Today, the Chinese stuff, I would say to you, 98% of what the best
look at
is.
Chery. I mean, Chery, the engines on those cars come with
10-year million kilometer warranty.
As long as you don't change
I have
ownership.
a theory for this, and we'll talk about it at another time. But I have a theory why they are getting so good. Yeah, they are good. Would you want to know now?
Yeah, I want to know.
Well, if you think about it,
there's no secrets with the Keep Your Change Cars podcast.
Yeah, no, I'm just worried we're going to run out of time because I can ramble on. So if you think about what's happening in China now, so all the major manufacturers, Ford, Volvo, Volkswagen, Audi, BMW, Mercedes, they all build cars in China. There. They have plants there. Where do they get their stuff from? They're not going to ship it from Germany or wherever the other plants are. They get manufactured in China. So China comes along and says, okay, we can supply you. We'll build factories here to supply you all your parts. Maybe it's a door panel, whatever those parts are.
Yeah.
And they come with the latest technology and they build a factory. So the Chinese manufacturers now, where 10 years ago when Chery came out here, they had, the cars weren't great. They were thrown together and that the quality wasn't that great.
It was Chinese quality. Whatever we think of as Taiwanese.
Give it to the
Chinese,
masses.
Correct.
What the hell, they can drive that for a year, it'll break, who cares? But now what's happened is because they want to go global, they can now plug into all these manufacturing supply chain and they can get access to all the big names, the Bosches of the world, the people who manufacture seats, the people who manufacture door cards, the paint, all this kind of stuff now is at their access. And the Chinese manufacturers who are building these things to German or European specifications, now it filters through into the Chinese. That's why we suddenly saw, a massive change. Remember Chery? Look at Chery now.
Two different things.
You wouldn't. You look at the old
The Chery Q3 in the third quarter was terrible. In the fourth quarter, they very, very. What was it called?
QQ3.
QQ3.
And they just had a clone. It was a Chevy Spark clone.
For sure.
Okay.
They've come leaps and bounds. The same thing you can say about Haval. And even now, if you look at bike with the Beijing,
the Beijing X55.
Good styling because you're getting European styling coming through to it, and you're getting the quality of product.
Now, when we conceived the show, for me, the information that Adam has just shared with us, that is what makes this show a reason to listen to.
Right.
You didn't know that before? Fully agree with you.
I'm a mine of useless information.
You may come back again, Adam. We may have you back here again.
Now, Johan asked us to name one positive about each of the brands. For every positive, there's a negative. We spoke about the French stuff not being the most reliable, not being the most popular. You look to drive a French or Italian car, what are the chances of it being stolen? What are the chances of it being hijacked, etc.? You're looking to buy that car secondhand. Yeah. The idiot who bought it new, and unfortunately it is a bit of an idiot, he's already taken the knock. So you'd be paying a far lower premium for a quality car than if you bought one of its counterparts.
True. So that's Italian, right?
Italian and French.
He wants one positive and one negative for each. What are we saying about the Japanese?
The Japanese, one thing is reliability.
Yeah.
You're going to get reliability.
We can't give them a negative, sorry.
The negative, I think, is some of the cars like to get stolen.
Yes.
Toyotas, we know Toyotas like to get stolen. And obviously, a lot of the styling is a bit, it's a bit quirky. I mean, let's be honest, the Japanese have never been great on terms of their styling. Yeah. And if you look at the German cars, then you're getting
the opposite.
Prestige.
Yeah.
You're getting beautiful styling and you're getting an image. The downfall of that is that they're damn expensive to maintain and they're not as reliable as people make out them to be.
And obviously the French positive as the looks, design.
If you speak to any person about a Peugeot, a Renault, a Citroën, it is standout, in my opinion. Yeah. It does look good. It's always a little bit different. It's always got something that you say, wow, where did they come up with this?
Yeah.
That's the positive. The negative is a cost of ownership, availability of parts. Not a fan of the French stuff, I must be honest.
Want SA's leading insurance? Visit changecars.co.za and click on the Discovery logo.
Second question is from a brother from another mother, actually, Gugu, from Gauteng. I promise you it's not me. Promise. So he's a pharmacist by profession.
Definitely not him.
No, I'd kill him. I prescribe the wrong stuff. Absolutely. So, and he's a car fanatic by birth. Now, he wants a car that'll make a statement in a classy but understated way. And he's got a budget of 400,000 Rand or less. He's willing to pay cash and he doesn't mind whether it's a convertible or hardtop. He's happy with either. And he wants to be able to enjoy the car and not worry about mileage and all that stuff. What can we recommend, Michael?
I would go for an SL500, 15-year-old SL500, or something from the Maserati stable.
Ooh.
Very classy, very understated, but when you
don't see a lot of those.
Correct. You will not believe what you can get in the Maserati brand for 400,000 Rand.
Yeah. And the reason is because, like, if you have to change a set of brake pads on there, it costs you 50 grand. That's the problem. And parts availability.
Except if they do it at your workshop.
Well, yeah, it'll be 49,000. But can I throw one in?
Oh,
I think it's cool. Convertible. All right.
Convertible.
If you want a convertible car, how about the Golf 6 GTI convertible? They brought them out. There weren't a lot of them around. You'll get a really nice convertible in this price range. And I mean, let's face it, the Golf has a VW has a great following, especially in South Africa. To have the convertible, I think it'd be quite cool. It's cheap to maintain, cheap to run, and still, because I think they maybe sold 100, 150 of them. It's still such a limited edition.
I promise you, talking about a car with God as my witness. I didn't. Have you ever seen a Golf 6 convertible?
I have, but you don't see
go.
many of them.
Yeah,
you
that's what I'm
really
saying.
don't see them.
Something different. Hey, it's the kind of thing you park in the garage.
Yeah.
But now, when you said Golf 6, you've given me another idea.
Okay.
6 Series BMW. That for me is an exceptional car. I've not always been a fan of the BMW styling, but the 6, I love it. In the coupe, in the convertible.
Not the
very first ones with the strange.
Chris Spangle
Oh,
design.
no,
I think
not the
that's
Chris Spangle design.
dog
No,
show.
no, no.
I would have called it the Chris Spangle because he messed it up properly. But the one after that, like the 2012,
Beautiful.
2013, what do you think of that?
Very good. I actually forgot about the model code. When we always throw these, it's E39 or E36 or whatever. I've forgotten the model.
After
code.
E39, I stopped.
Yeah.
E30 and E36, I'm there.
But that's a great option because you can buy a low mileage one of those. They were never bought by people who drilled the pants off the tire.
Older type of person.
Like a 640D.
640D.
Plenty grunt.
Yeah.
Lights on fuel. That engine's bulletproof. You're not going to have any issues with it. And for like 400 grand, you're going to get yourself a good one.
Gugu, without a doubt, that is his choice. I think the 6 Series.
I'd either go for that or the SL500, I must be honest.
But you're a Merc fan. What is it about the SL500 that talks to you?
It's just the design. For me, it's got a timeless design. Timeless design, hardtop convertible, and I think that's what he's going to enjoy, the fact that he gets to have a convertible, but when it's closed, it looks like a normal car. So that's what I'll go for. It obviously came in, it's got the 5-litre V8. They had a SL350, am I correct?
Correct.
Yep.
It's a V6.
Yes, correct. There was a
Correct.
350 V6.
350 V6, and then the 55 and the 63.
For
It's
sure.
probably the better one. I mean, I like the SL, but I would, if I was going to buy one, I'd look at the 350 because the engine was bulletproof and it doesn't have all the electronics that the 500 comes with that really gives problems, like air suspension and they've got also specialized suspension on them. And if they give trouble, a shock absorber can set you back, 50, 60, 70,000 rand.
Yeah.
People forget about those things. Tires, you've got bigger tires on it, bigger brakes on it. I mean, a set of AMG brakes is going to set you back, 20,000 rand to replace it. But if it's an SL350, it's going to cost you, 5 grand.
Okay, so I think it's settled. BMW.
For sure. But just one more point for Gugu. He said he's easy regarding.
I thought you were talking to me.
For the two Gugus. He said he's easy regarding hard top or soft top.
Yeah.
Adam, I don't know if you agree with me. Always go for the soft top.
Yeah, why
Because you've
not?
got the best of both worlds. When you've got a coupe on your weekend car and it's that beautiful late afternoon, you just wish that top was down.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, the convertible.
Convertible.
Convertible's always great. It's like when Michael's trying to chase me in his Audi convertible and I'm in my Porsche in front of him, and we wave at each other and he can't keep up with me. That's what you want.
Touche.
It's only happened 7 times and you have to continuously bring it up.
Touche.
Need advice? Visit changecars.co.za and click on the Keep It or Change Cars tab.
Next question. This one's for you, Adam. This one's specifically for you. It's from Noel Moodley from Dundee in KZN. He's also a petrol head and a lover of cars. Now, he needs our opinion on performance-enhancing aftermarket parts for cars, specifically exhaust, chipping, and downer tuning.
Yeah.
Should he do it? Should he not?
If you're the kind of person who wants to do that stuff, sure, go ahead.
He's
and
from
do it.
KZN. Everyone does it.
Of course. I mean, you're not going to fit in at KZN. And,
Right.
in Dundee, you can't drive around in a standard car. But definitely.
Is it frowned upon?
Of course. I mean, really, you got to drop the suspension. You got to put
Yeah.
a chip in it and put a
Put
noisier
exhaust.
exhaust on it. The only concern I have with these is that I see a lot of people who, when they do this, do not understand the costs involved. So when they want to put an exhaust on, they're looking for the cheapest guy in town. When they're looking to do a chip, they're looking for the cheapest guy in town. And it ends up being a disaster. Rather, if you're going to do this kind of stuff, that's cool. Go to somebody who specializes in that constantly. And the best way to go at it, let's say for argument's sake, use an example of a Golf GTR, very popular car to get modified. Join the GTI club.
Somebody's done it.
Somebody's done it. Go to the guys that's recommended. 50 guys have been to Gugu. Gugu, you fixed the guys' cars. You did a great job. You know what you're doing. Go there. Don't go to, Bob around the corner who says he can do it for half the price and because he wants to train on your car, because when he breaks it, it's going to cost you a lot of money. And just remember, obviously, a lot of times when you do these performance upgrades, you do start to lose the reliability of the car. I'm not a great fan of it, but I'm 61 years old. I'm an old fart. I don't need to do this kind of stuff, Guys like you, Gugu, you want to do it. You want the bigger wheels. You want the noisy exhaust. You want vroom, pa, 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 and you want to make all that noise. So that's cool.
Yeah.
If and that's a different generation of things. But get the right guys to do it, because, you could save $5,000 somewhere doing it and end up costing you 50,000 Rand on an engine.
Fix.
So rather go to the guys that specialize in it. There's lots of guys that specialize in it, know what they're doing in it, and that's the place to go to. Maybe spend a little bit extra, do the homework, go to whatever the car club, whatever the cars you have, go to the car clubs, look around. Even you go onto, social media and you look at the performance, because there's so many performance places around that do that, and get the right thing done.
So get it from the right guy.
Yeah.
Michael, do you want to add something to that?
So I always say, whatever mistake you can make, trust me, somebody's made that mistake before you.
Yeah.
You do not need to be the guinea pig.
Yeah.
However, I have not changed my hairstyle since 1982. So I'm not the kind of guy who wants to do anything to modify a car.
Actually, I've seen your cars. None of them are modded.
I've seen your hairstyle in 1982. I will not change anything.
Yeah.
Of the items he mentioned, if he was going to change something, don't know if you agree with me, the exhaust. There's some seriously good exhaust products on the market from what I understand. And the exhaust is vital to a car's breathing. Looking to get cheap performance, enhancement, go for an exhaust. But when you start with dyno tuning and all these other performance chips that everybody claims, I promise you, you'll go backwards.
Yeah,
You'll
just
go
depends
backwards.
if you know what you want. If you want a bit more drivability and a bit more noise, you can go to like a stage 1 chip, which is not serious. Maybe another 10-15% extra performance in your car, and you've got an exhaust on there which really sounds cool. That's most probably the right way to go about things. There's most probably people listening who say, "Nah, kak, Jana, you got to gooi everything on it.
Alles, eh?
You got to make it more noisy, and
Gooi.
I want 1,000 horsepower out of this thing." But remember, those engines are designed to work around the sort of manufacturer specs, and when you uprate everything, you got to remember, it affects your brakes, it affects your gearbox,
course.
all these kinds of things along the way. So look for a small grade uptune, make it look cool.
So when a
And it's
car's
not bad.
producing 120 kilowatts and 240 Newton meters of torque,
Yeah.
is that well within its limits? And that's why Toyota or Nissan, whoever the manufacturer was, did it. There was plenty more to come, but they kept it for longevity.
And they spent a lot of money.
Well, just a
building
perfect example is like take a 3 Series, take a
Yeah.
320i, like an F30 model. You get a 320i and you get a 328i. Basically, the engines are identical. The difference is they've chipped it.
the mapping.
But
Is that the mapping?
the mapping has been changed so that you get more performance in that. But BMW also go and change the internals of the 328 because they know
cope
there's
with that.
a lot more power.
Yeah.
So you need to have it strengthened in there. So it's not the same. A 320i and a 328i is not the same
So
engine.
when you take a 320 and you start producing the
same
performance of a 328, you're stressing an engine that wasn't designed to be
and
stressed to
and
that
you want the
level.
right brakes.
For sure.
Definitely.
Good lessons. That's why I have you two here.
Noel,
Smart people.
enjoy your standard car. It's beautiful. Whatever it may be.
Yeah, just do exhaust, Noel. Just exhaust. That's all.
Looking to buy a new or used car? Visit changecars.co.za.
Okay, finally, we've got Tanya, who's a mother of 3 from Somerset West in Cape Town. Now, she says she's no petrol head, but she also doesn't want a mommy van, right? Her budget is not an issue, she says, but it can't be more than 1.2 million Rand. And she can go new or used, but it has to be less than 20,000 kilometers. She does not want anything from Beijing, China, which cheeky.
Yeah. So, some people want, they want that image car, You want something nice to drive around. I think the perfect car for something like this in that budget, you've got 3 kids, you've got to have space.
Safety.
Throw all the stuff in. Safety and a
Can I
budget.
go first in case he says what I want to say?
Yeah, sure, go.
You go first.
I would-
BMW X3.
Oh, yeah. BMW X3?
Exactly what I was going to say. 100%.
Really?
Because 1.2 gets you a nice
Promise you that.
X3
That is genuine.
2-liter diesel. It's got the space in it. It's got the image with it. And it comes with a 5-year, 100,000 kilometer warranty.
Are we talking about the current one?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. So go for an X3, like a 2-liter diesel.
Why not the 30D, Adam?
Because
It's not
you don't-
needed.
She's not a petrolhead. She doesn't need that Vuma.
Okay.
And it's powerful.
Discriminates,
More than
that's
powerful
fine.
enough.
Yeah.
I mean, she didn't want, if
She
she, didn't
doesn't
want a
need that
mommy van,
Vuma?
She identified herself as not a petrolhead,
Yeah.
but not a mommy van.
Okay.
if she didn't want to, if she was okay for a mommy van, then I'd say you look at the Kia Carnival or the latest Hyundai Palisade. I drove that 2 weeks ago.
That's a mommy van.
That's a mommy van.
But it's a beautiful looking car.
Value for money.
course.
1.1 million gets you a great 7 or 8
Seven-seater.
seater.
But you
in
need
the
a few
Palisade.
more kids. You need a few more kids for that.
But I'm sure her kids have got friends. That's the nice thing about something like a Palisade. If you get a 7 or 8 seater, it doesn't drive like a mommy van.
Sure.
No.
And the amount of features and safety things that you get in that car, fantastic.
What
Great
I
value.
love about the X3, the size of that car, in my opinion, is the most perfect balance.
Yeah.
So the X3's grown over the years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To the best of my knowledge, the current X3 is a very similar size to the original X5.
Yeah, the E53 X5s.
It's a nice size car. It's not overly big,
Yeah.
but it's not pokey in any way. Lovely car. Second choice?
Well, in terms of these kinds of, you want to go SUV because you want
Correct.
you want the space.
And the quality of our roads. And that's not even a joke. I mean, now she's in Somerset West. The quality of roads down there are a lot better.
yeah, much better.
But maybe she comes on holiday to the beautiful tourist province of Gauteng and she'll be surprised.
Moerepotel Gauteng. Yeah.
What was your second choice?
So I actually didn't think of a second choice besides something like a mommy van.
I thought of a Land Rover Discovery 5.
Those are
Disco
beautiful.
5's also quite
Beautiful looking car. It really, funny enough, certain cars, when they come out, I like them, but I don't love them.
Yeah.
You
The
have to buy that
Discovery
second
5,
hand.
correct.
Yeah.
But the Discovery 5, the looks today is growing on me.
stunning.
That offset rear number plate, whatever
No.
the design.
That's the one thing that pisses me off.
I like it now.
They should take that oak who designed that thing and put him up against the wall and shoot him.
Or come to me and I'll protect you.
Yeah, no, because really, every time I drive behind a Disco 5, now I'm a Disco 4 driver,
Yeah.
and I look behind a Disco 5, and it looks like the car's had a stroke.
Really?
It's like,
Something's
my number
offside.
plate is skew.
But it's a lovely,
Yeah.
lovely, lovely car.
So that comes in a few different engines, right? Which would you recommend?
When you go for a big car, I'm personally not a huge diesel fan, but certain times, horses for courses.
Not a
got to-
diesel head.
Not a diesel head, and I've never met a diesel head. You've got to go for the 3-liter diesel there, in your opinion?
Well, that's a good option. We could also throw in there Toyota Prado, very popular car, 7-seater option. It's bulletproof. You can drive it for 50 years; it'll still be going.
But do you ever look at a Toyota Prado and say, wow, I haven't seen
want
one of
one of
these.
those.
What a good looking car.
Get a white one.
It is great. Get a pink one. That will make you look back.
I think Prados only come in white, don't they? White and silver.
Okay, so
Standard issue.
Disco or the X3?
The X3 in my personal order, and
Yeah.
I love the Disco.
Yeah.
X3 is unhesitating choice there
Yeah, because
in the
it's
diesel.
full of tech. It's safety. One more. Now that we're just chatting, it's
Yeah.
bumped in my head. Volvo XC60.
Brilliant.
Excellent car as well.
Yeah.
Space in it. Full of tech, and in terms of theft and stuff like that, low risk. A lot more comfortable to drive
Yeah.
than say an X3 because of the BMWs are more designed for sporty sort of
Sporty
suspension,
driving, yeah.
where the Volvo is more designed for comfort. So something like an XC60, you could buy a nice D4 version, and now they don't. They're all hybrid versions, if I remember. No, they're petrol. You actually can't get the diesel anymore.
Correct.
Funny enough. Now it's just come to me. But if you could find like a 1-year-old D5, D4, brilliant cars.
Happy
very,
days.
Very, very
But
good
this
cars.
is a discussion almost in itself. What is it about the XC60? And I promise you, I have this discussion regularly, but yet I didn't even mention it. You bring it up, it's like a light bulb.
Yeah.
What is it about that XC60 that is so good, yet the average member of the public hasn't a clue it even exists?
Because it doesn't have an image. Because the problem with that kind of car is people in that sort of segment, when they're going to spend anything from 700 to 1.2 million on a car,
they want a badge.
They want people to know.
they want people to know.
yeah.
And my wife drives an XC60, great car, never gave us a day's trouble. I've had 3 Volvos, never had any problems with them.
Superb.
But I think it was also that perception that they got poor resale values.
Old
and
man's car.
Old man's car. I mean, things have changed.
Of course.
If somebody's looking to go and buy and looking at coming out of Volvo's got some really great stuff. Even that XC40, which is obviously not for this application because 3 kids in there is going to be a squash.
And Tanya, as a mom, what
as
is
a
the
mom of
one
3?
standout feature historically and current about a Volvo that is standout?
Safety.
Absolutely.
Safety.
Yeah.
When I think of Volvo, I think of inherent safety. They are the pioneers of so many features
are.
historically. Unbelievable brand. But Tanya's got lovely choices. I think that's
Yeah.
fair to say.
Volvo was the
plenty.
company.
We've
that-
just made it harder for her, though.
Volvo was the company that came out with the first company to bring out a 3-point seatbelt,
3-point
Oh,
safety
really?
belt.
and
Wow.
they didn't patent it.
Yeah.
They said, You can
Use it.
use this.
Use
you
it.
can use it.
Awesome, guys. That is a wrap. Thank you so much for your time. Adam, are you coming back?
I'll be back.
You better be back.
Yep, we'll be back.
He's a world of knowledge.
No, he is. Jeez, a lot.
And he's
That's a
always
lot.
welcome.
Yeah. Are you coming back, champ?
Told you, I'll make myself welcome.
Okay, that's good. And if you have any questions, queries, insurance, car related, car buying, whatever it is, email us at podcast@changecars.co.za and our guests will answer anything.
For South Africa's best motoring content, catch all things motoring on Ignition TV, DSTV channel 189. Premieres Saturdays midday with repeats throughout the week.